Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. Today's topic is for me. I will own it up front. Today's topic, while I hope that it blesses you, it is for me. Today's topic, turn your wounds into wisdom. Now, sometimes when we get wounded and scars start to cover up the wound, it gets so thick that it can't you can't penetrate that place where the scar tissue has developed, because sometimes we allow wounds to turn us into bitterness. But today we want to encourage you to turn your wounds into wisdom. Everybody has wounds. Some wounds are visible, some are emotional, some are silent. But here's the truth: your wound is not meant to be your identity, it's meant to be your instructor. Pain, y'all, it's a brutal teacher, but it's an honest teacher. The question is, were you wounded? Is that really the question? The question isn't, were you wounded? The question is, what did it teach you? Let me give you three ways to turn your wounds into wisdom. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Deaconess Rhonda. Let me give you three ways to turn your wounds into wisdom. First of all, extract the lesson, not the bitterness. Extract the lesson, not the bitterness. Pain always leaves something behind. You get to decide what that something is. Some people leave a wound with resentment, others leave it with revelation. When something hurts you, betrayal, rejection, failure, disappointment, don't just keep replaying it, study it. There's a difference between replaying something in your mind and studying it. Ask yourself some questions. What boundary did I ignore? What red flag did I rationalize? What truth did I already know but didn't trust? Wisdom is pain that has been processed. If you don't process it, it becomes poisonous. If you don't process pain, it can become poisonous. If you don't process it, it becomes poisonous. But if you process it, it can become perspective. So don't let your wound be like a scab that just keeps scabbing over and scabbing over with scar tissue. Don't let it turn hard. Let it turn you aware, because awareness is expensive and pain often pays the tuition. There it is. I don't know who needed that this morning. Good morning, Alana. Good morning, Miss Woods. So that's the first step, y'all. Extract the lesson, not the bitterness. The second step, let the scar upgrade your discernment. Y'all, when I used to pray, I used to always ask, good morning, Charity. I used to always ask God when I first got saved, Lord, give me strong discernment. I still pray that prayer, y'all. I want discernment. Let the scar upgrade your discernment. Wounds can make you fearful, or they can make you sharper. There's a difference between being guarded and being guided. When you turn your wounds into wisdom, you don't say, I'll never trust again in your most dramatic form. You say, I now recognize what misalignment looks like. Discernment is not suspicion, y'all. It's pattern recognition. The wound showed up, it was there. And what did it show you? It showed you what manipulation looks like. It showed you what burnout feels like. It shows you what instability looks like. It shows you what disrespect smells like. Now, don't panic. You don't have to panic. What you have to do is pivot. You don't have to overreact. You just have to observe. The scar, it's not there to make you cynical. It's there to make you calibrated. I'm going to say that for you again. The scar, I got a scar right here that's real bad. It doesn't make me cynical. It calibrates me. And calibrated people lead better. People who understand some things and are now calibrated for the fight, we lead better. This scar right here, I carry it. It's a reminder, but it doesn't leave me in a pit, y'all. It doesn't make me cynical. It calibrates me. It reminds me of the things that I have accomplished and what I can continue. Good morning, Toya. What I can continue to accomplish. So the third step, Use your wound as a bridge and not as a badge. Today, y'all, we're talking about turning your wounds into wisdom. Use your wound as a bridge and not as a badge. Some people wear their wounds like they're badges of honor. Others use them like they're bridges. A badge says, look what happened to me, that victim mentality. A bridge says, let me help you cross. When you heal enough to talk about it without bleeding on people, your story becomes strategy. Last week, I posted something and I said, stop bleeding on stages. When people hire me, y'all, if I'm not healed, I'll bleed all over kids on stages that didn't come to see me bleed. That's why you got to heal before you go out there so that you're not bleeding all over people. Your story becomes strategy for somebody else. Your struggle becomes language for someone else's confusion. Your recovery, it becomes proof that survival is possible. You don't have to tell every detail. You don't have to relive every moment. But when you turn pain into insight, you become safe space for other people. The reason I remember asking God one day, Lord, why did you let me go through all of my adolescent angst that I went through, almost dying, suicidal ideations, mental illness, all of the things. I was a cutter. I was a horrible juvenile delinquent. I was mean as could be. I had no remorse for the things that I did to people. And I asked God, Lord, why did you allow me to go through all of that? Because you could have stopped it all. And he said it wasn't for then and it wasn't for you. The reason that young people are so drawn to you, T, is because you understand their pain and you are a safe space for our young people to grow into who they're called to be. And you are a constant model that it doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. That's why you've got to heal so that your wounds become safe space for others. And leaders who have healed wounds lead with empathy and not with ego. Your wound gives you compassion for other people's weaknesses, authority without arrogance, and confidence without cruelty. That's wisdom. Your wound is not wasted. It came to expose something. It came to teach something. It came to refine something, but it doesn't get to define you. You are not what hurt you. You are what you learned from it. So don't bury your wound. Don't glamorize your wound, and don't ignore your wound. Process it, learn from it, heal from it, and then let it make you wiser, not harder, stronger, not sharp-tongued, deeper, not distant. Turn your wounds into wisdom, because when you do, what tried to break you becomes the very thing that builds you. Huh. That was for somebody. The thing that tried to break you becomes the very thing that builds you. The very thing that the enemy thought was going to take me out. God has used it to bless young people all over this country. And when I tell you it is a humbling thing, it's not what I did, it's what God did in and through me. Because don't ever get it twisted. I could never have healed the deep wounds that I carried. That was God. But what God did with those wounds, he turned those wounds into wisdom that allows me to be a blessing for young people. And I don't know who needed this message this morning, but don't let the enemy make you turn your wounds into bitterness. Turn your wounds into wisdom. I'm the amazing T Street, but I can assure you there's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every leader who hears this message. I dog double dare you to turn your wounds into wisdom. Have an amazing, amazing day, y'all.